You ever go to someone's Instagram page and you think you should already know them? That's how I felt when I discovered NOTIQ. He's a brother posting nature content, dropping thoughtful content all over the place, and challenging narrative without all the noise. Gabriel Rudd built something special in the digital space, and he's a voice that makes you think. NOTIQ stands for nothing other than ill quotes. So he's going to bless us today with some knowledge about the outdoor space, the creator economy, and how he's come to be a thought leader on the Instagram platform. This is Unmapped. So let's welcome Gabriel to the show. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, Jamie? I appreciate that introduction.
Hey, man, glad to have you here, man. It's been, it's funny because sometimes when you connect with people online and then you finally get a chance to meet them in person, brother. So I'm just so glad to have you here, man. So it's good to have you in the space, man. And you're here in Atlanta, correct?
That's right, here in Atlanta for sure.
All right, that's what's up, man. So I would love to, like I said, we got Gabriel Rudd here, better known as it's NOTIQ, bro. It's NOTIQ, bro. It's his right. Instagram handle. But he's been doing content outside and kind of just literally in nature. One of his first posts was, I actually used the soundbite. You're talking about being outside and really being outside. So talk to us about how you got the connection between the outdoors and your content and how you even got started in the first place.
Okay, cool. So first, I'll be remiss if I didn't do a land acknowledgement.
Okay.
We're in Atlanta, Georgia. So Georgia is home of the Muskogee Creek, indigenous people.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? We got the Okmulgee down south. We got Etowah Mounds up here. So I just want to give a land acknowledgement.
Bro, that's so important. Thank you.
Indigenous territory.
Yes, sir.
You feel me? All right, so how did I get started in the outdoors? Essentially, I grew up being outside. Okay. Like I grew up, in Cobb County from Albany, Georgia. Okay. So like for those who know, what I'm saying, that's like deep south red clay. You feel me? So
I know people used to eat that red clay. So that's exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Good nutrients and minerals in it. But so I didn't grow up in the city of Atlanta. I grew up on the outskirts. Okay. So I had like a lot of access to like outdoor spaces, you know what I'm saying? A lot of parks. My father's from Kentucky, my mom's from South Georgia, Florida. So like I just spent a lot of time in the outdoors, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Whether hiking, camping, so fishing. So before I could really remember, I was already, fishing, hiking, camping, swimming, doing all of those things. So I was kind of like raised in, like outdoor environments.
That's fire, man. And I think for us, like especially as Black folks, man, sometimes, we grow up fishing and hunting and things like that. Mm-hmm. But I see your content, man, it's kind of just spread. Now you're camping. Now you're doing a lot of different things outside, which I think, for us living in a busy world, being exposed to so many things, kind of stripping ourselves of the noise and getting outside is super important. So how did you start like getting into some of the more deeper things in the outdoors in terms of camping and then incorporating that into a content strategy?
So I would say I wasn't familiar with the fact that Black people didn't like hike and camping and go outside because in my family, that's what we was doing.
That's facts.
And here in Georgia, I'm seeing other, Black people do the same thing. Yeah. But something that I realized, it wasn't being filmed. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I started vlogging, I want to say in like 2006, on YouTube, back in the OG days.
Yeah.
And so I just filmed everything that I did. So I would say about around 2019, 2018, somewhere in there, I started going outdoors more, like on hikes and stuff like that. And I was just filming what I was doing just because, I want to just catalog for myself, for my family and for the people that was adventuring with me. Mm-hmm. And so at some point, TikTok started to get like popular. Yeah. And my youngest niece was on TikTok and went like, I'm an early adopter. Yeah. So when social media apps come out, I'm on them. You know what I'm saying? I may not do nothing with them, but I'm going to sign up.
It's important to do that. It's important to do that. It's important to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just had all this content, you know what I'm saying, that hiking and with my drone and kayak and all that type stuff. And my niece was like, you should get on TikTok. And I was like, I don't know. Last time I checked it out, it was just dances.
Yeah, facts.
And so she was like, nah, I think you should, check it out. Like, it's more than dancing on there. And so as I started studying a little bit more, maybe for like a couple weeks, then I was just posting the content I already had. Yeah. And I pretty much created like a catalog of like maybe 20 posts. Yeah. And then there was a sound by Jamila Jones. It was about Black men. If you have other content outside of like alpha male content, please post it as sound. Yeah. And so I ruminated on whether I wanted to add my video clips to this sound for maybe like 2 days, because what I didn't want to do is alienate like men to make it feel like I was like against us, because the social media,
you can get twisted.
It ain't really
real quick. The
nuance is not that great. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, you know what? But these are the things I'm doing, and I am a representative of somebody doing something that is counter to the alpha male content that I saw like permeating the younger men and the boys coming up. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna just I'm gonna post to this sound. And so I would say it was like it might have been December 2021, I think. And so like the day before Christmas, I posted the sound, and then I just I went to sleep. You know what I'm saying? And now Christmas is the next day. So I'm like, okay, Christmas, I'm with my family, just doing the regular holiday stuff. And then my phone was just going crazy. Because at that time, my notification was on. I didn't have no follow.
You weren't tripping. You just posted a video. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And so I go to open up my phone, and I can't even like read the notifications because it's going crazy. My page went from like 5. No, I think I had 1,000. I had 1,000 at the time because I wanted to go live. So to go live, you had to get 1,000. And so then at that point, I want to say it went from 1,000 to like 30,000.
Wow.
In less than 24 hours, probably like 10 hours.
Man, you know what? Like so much of that is just so rich. Because first you talked about like capitalizing on the moment. And I think sometimes as creators, we just like I said, ruminate on stuff like, man, should I post this? Should I do this? I don't know what people are going to think. I really don't want to do it. And then you just do it, right? And you walk away from it. And honestly, because it was so authentic to you, that blew up. And look at you now. You're a thought leader in the space, man. So like, how does it feel now? Thinking back to, you kind of just got into it for the love of it, but now, you kind of almost like an authority in the space, and people are listening to your content. So like, how has things shifted for you since that moment?
I would say I had the advantage of having close friends who were like notable on social media. So one of my closest friends, Zodi, she has had an online presence on YouTube for a number of years, singing and just building a community of creators. In the States, across diaspora, like, so in Africa, Ethiopia, Eritrea. And so fortunately, just like watching some of the things that she navigated online, and a few other people too, Alex Balan, just knowing what they went through, I was able to like kind of set some boundaries, because I was thinking about like the Andy Warhol quote back in the, 50s or something like that. And he was like, everybody gonna have their 15 minutes of fame.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And in this era of social media, I'm like, well, it's even more access. And you don't even have to have a phone or film yourself. Somebody else could film you.
Right.
And you could be popular. So I was just like, in the event that I do become popular because of this medium that exists now, that's so accessible, I need to have some things that I'm willing to keep for myself. And I need to make sure I set some boundaries and just like have some things that I just won't do. You know what I'm saying? I won't like compromise my morals and integrity. And so when that happened, I was a little like, oh snap. You know what I'm saying? This is real. This is real. And so my best friend Brandon X called me. He was texting me like, hey bro, like this, basically this one of them moments. You know what I'm saying? And like, this is how it could be viewed in the space. You just doing what you love. You mixing the journalism with the content creation, with your love for the outdoors and the connection that our people need with the outdoors to understand like our place, in the world and in the earth outside of, just the disconnect that we had. And so it was like a very surreal moment, but I was thankful that I did have people around me that I could, talk to seek advice from.
That community is so important, man. And I have a few friends as well. One, to even in moments where, because it's not easy to do that. And I so my follow-up question to that is, so how do you balance creating the content that performs well while staying true to your message, right? Because I think that's one of the things that I found to be challenging, because this game can feel very gimmicky at times, or that you want, you almost feel a pressure sometimes to kind of ride trends, that maybe not even fit with what you got going on, but because it's popular in the views and you want to keep it going. So how do you balance that?
So this is what I say. This is what I studied in school.
Okay.
I went to Kennesaw State University. I got a degree in journalism and citizen media. And so I knew I didn't really want to go the traditional route of being a news reporter, even though I did report, I did investigate, I did interview, I did all of those things. But I also knew that I wanted to be connected to more closely connected to people in the digital age. And so I read books about social media, long before I began to post consistently on TikTok. I wanted to know what I was getting myself into. And then I was vlogging since 2006.
Yeah, you said you know what I'm saying? That's before smartphones was popping like that.
I had a podcast, what they call vodcast, now from 2006 to 2009. And so at that time, it really wasn't no money to get, you know what I'm saying? You create an income stream, like a funnel. But if you wasn't Emma Chamberlain, and I think the Paul brothers were coming up at that time, and then they just began to monetize. So it never really I never really thought about creating content with money in mind. And, I used to record music and perform and do shows and mixtapes, albums, all that type stuff. Yeah. And I was like, okay, with the content creation, I can do something that isn't directly linked. So I thought, obviously, we here now, things change. It wasn't directly linked to you gotta make a single that'll sell, that'll put tickets in the seats, that'll make advertisers want to play, have their ads beside your song on the radio. Yeah. And I saw content creation as a way to get away from that. Yeah. And so I wasn't even thinking about it. So when it comes to content creation, I do it naturally. Yeah. I'm going to create content. I'm going to record. I'm going to tell stories, period. So I think that knowledge beforehand is what really helped me, and seeing other people's journeys with it before I even stepped into it. Yeah. And some of it still gets to me, because I'll see other creators, but then it's oh, they're not in my niche. Yep. They're not black. Yep. They're not a black man. Yep. They're not in the South. So I'm just a lot of what I'm seeing, I can't even achieve what they're achieving in that way. Yeah. And I tell people the same with me. If you looking at what I'm doing and you thinking okay, well, all he doing is posting, maybe if I just post more, then that'll help. But it's okay, but he got a degree in journalism. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It's an art to this. It's an art and a science to this. Yeah.
So that's how I was able to avoid some of that. But still, it's you do want to perform well. Yeah. You battling the algorithms and the people who made it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all read Algorithms of Hate. Yep. If you haven't heard of that, read that book, and that will really help you navigate what's going on. I'm about to put that one on the list. Yeah. I mean, you hit on so many different things, man, because I think one is you had that foundation, and you did your homework, which I think so a lot of times creators get in here and they think it's just, I'm going to post this viral video, or I'm going to do this little TikTok dance and I'm going to blow up. Yeah. And you're right, because there is a lot of research and a lot of knowledge you need to go in the space to, one, know what to expect, because it can get crazy out here and people are crazy. But let me say this. I didn't know I was doing my homework at the time. Okay. Because what social media became, it wasn't that. I'm just interested in technology. I'm an early adopter. Yeah. So I'm on all the social platforms. I'm just looking and I'm reading to see what am I getting into, who owns the company. Yeah. I'm reading their reports, their annual reports. Yeah. I'm just interested. I hear that. And so all of that helped me. But when I went to journalism school, I didn't really know social media was going to become what it became. Yeah. When I was camping in the outdoors, I didn't know these skills were going to be valuable. When I was doing drone stuff and got my certification, I had no idea I was going to be able to put all of this together and it would inform what people see now. So I can't say it was calculated. I was doing this strategically, but it all kind of came together at the right time.
I don't know, man. I think you kind of selling yourself short on that, because sometimes it has to be something about your journey, even though those things weren't calculated. I think sometimes those are some of the most best moments when it's not calculated, right? But you are obviously being authentic to yourself. You're listening to something. You're following some path that has allowed you to be able to take those things that are so uniquely you and position them all together, man. That's a calling more so than it is anything else. So obviously you've been doing something right. To get this kind of led you to this moment, man. So that's dope. That's dope.
And I would say it's a lot of internal work because you have to like learn who you are. So you can even see yourself and what you may have to offer to people.
Yeah.
So
hey man, well, I mean, I think that you that even hearing this inspires me to even think more about how I can use my content in that way to feel more authentic and to also make sure that I'm, not necessarily playing this gimmicky game and following that. So that's lit. Yeah. So NOTIQ, and here when I asked him, I was like, "How do you pronounce this?" He said, "Like hypnotic." So that tells me all I need to know about some of the origins of this name.
That's
so
the era.
It stands for nothing other than ill quotes. Tell the people a little bit more about what the context behind the name.
All right, so I got the name NOTIQ when I was at Wingate University in college. I went to a lot of different colleges. That was the first one I went to.
Okay,
and so me and my homeboy Dion Dynamic, we was like rapping. You know what I'm saying? We was trying to figure out like what are going to be our names, you know what I'm saying? And of course, this is like the era like 2004, 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
So, if you was in college around that time, like you knew the Incredible Hulks, the Hypnotic, you know what I'm saying? With the Hennessy.
Oh, yeah.
So we was just like coming up with like drink names. Yeah. And I was in like a friend group, and we all had like drink names.
Okay.
And so, but they were supposed to be like catered to our personality. And so like, they was like, yeah, you kind of laid back, you know what I'm saying? So we gonna like, how about NOTIQ? And so
man.
like that's how I got the name. So
hey, that speaks so much because one thing we know about the Hypnotic is that, especially with them Incredible Hulks, is that it is low key till it ain't. So that's what's up, man. So thinking about so a lot of this makes sense when I'm thinking about your content and I'm thinking about just who I've gotten to know you as, and so even thinking about your hip hop origins, one of the things that I see coming across your content a lot is this. You talk a lot about Black masculinity and like how that shows up, and you were pretty thoughtful as well as you kind of share your opinions about it. So how do you what are some of the things that you think are important for people to know about Black masculinity, and what do you stand for?
I think that you have to get around an array of men, number one. Like and let's just say you don't have men around you, I think it's important for you to seek out mentors. You know what I'm saying? I was fortunate enough to have a father who had a bunch of like male friends, you know what I'm saying? And my father was like a very dynamic personality. You know what I'm saying? He passed in 2008.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Appreciate it, man. But he was known in the community of Cobb County. He was very like outspoken and vulnerable. And I'm a PK, so.
Okay, it's making sense. It's all making sense now.
Yeah, so like I just grew up seeing like different facets of my father in different environments, along with his friends. So when I think about masculinity, I don't think about it one way. I think about an array of like representations, because I had like older cousins. You know what I'm saying? And I was like one of the youngest people like in my family and extended family. So I'm getting all the lessons. Yeah. And so just like understand like your masculinity is going to be informed by like a variety of men from different walks of life, different experiences, different ages, and that it comes together to create a more holistic or full picture, that you don't have to be like one archetype. And so that is what really helped inform my views of masculinity.
Well, I see this in your content, man, because you're always thinking about, and I think you even, because even you talk about like your idea of Black masculinity isn't going to be formed by it, but you don't even have to show up as one way always, right? Yeah. And I see that in the way that you show up. So what do you like when you're thinking about, or if you were talking to some of the other creators around, like especially from the Black male perspective, because I think we need more Black male representation in the creative space because of the limited perspectives that we get, because they either big bro energy, you know, alpha male. Let me tell you how you're going to get a woman and, you know, and all the things you need to do. Or, you know, but other than that, it's few far in between. I think we represent a difference, but I don't think it's enough. So what would you say to a black male who's thinking about getting into content creation or thinking about sharing his voice, how he can show up and how he should go about doing that?
Man, I'm going to say, like, you really got to open up like your media consumption, and you got to have like a variety of influences. Like I know it's a little difficult now to search. I came up in the internet age where it was like a wide open internet. Everything wasn't so algorithmic and funneled. But like, I mean, go to the library, you know, read books, borrow books. Go to a neighborhood. They got the little free book.
Books on YouTube.
Books on YouTube, audio books, you know what I'm saying? Because you have to like open yourself up to know like there are different ways to show up, and there are people showing up like you. And if there aren't people showing up like you, then maybe that means you need to show up. And so turn on the camera. I tell brothers all the time, like, bruh, it's younger versions of you. It's people who needed you and they didn't have the person that you needed, you didn't have, and now you are that person. Show up because the other people need you. You ain't got to be like super high quality. Wipe off the screen on the lens. First thing I tell everybody, just wipe off the lens and then post it and then hit record and like show yourself doing something that you might think is trivial. I don't care if it's folding clothes. I don't care if it's, you know, putting a tire in the car. I don't care if it's baking cookies. It really don't matter what it is, but just do something that you enjoy doing and like be a geek about it. You know what I'm saying? Like be a nerd about whatever you got going on, because other people will see the joy that you have and really focusing on something that you are actually interested in, and that will show itself. The algorithm gonna place you somewhere anyway. You don't have to niche yourself down. Just do what you're gonna do. The algorithm is going to put you in a category, and then people interested in that is going to send that to them. So you might be like, ain't nobody, you know, interested in, you know, I don't know, if you could be quilting, you could be doing anything. You'd be like, man, dudes don't respect this. Do not look at it like that. Like there's a guy, Bomani Jones. He says all the time. He was like, he says in terms of like relationships, he was like, look, y'all thinking about this too hard. Guess what men like? Anything. Guess what women like? Anything. It's like you thinking about it too hard. You just got to show up to give yourself a chance to find out who is interested. And
the numbers are in your favor, right? Because I think about it. I think you were talking about this because I too I geek out on like the companies that own these platforms and things like this. And I was actually listening to Meta's conference call when they reported their quarterly earnings this past quarter, and there are 8 billion people in the world, and Facebook has 4.3 billion users. That means almost half of the world is on Facebook and Instagram. Your audience is on there. You can find 100,000 people. You can find 30,000 people. You know, it don't even matter. You can find an audience for whatever it is that you like. You know,
and that's active users.
That's active users, right? Absolutely, right? And so that means that there are people out there that will listen to you. You just got to put yourself out there, and you'll find your community. And I love what you said about the examples. I mean, I think that's just so important, especially in this digital age, man. You could be there for somebody.
I mean, let me tell you, like in 1 month on Facebook, recently, I've grown from like 500 followers to I got 44,000 followers.
Wow.
And it's really just showing up as myself, posting content, and giving people insight into a world that they didn't even know existed. They didn't know black men hiked or chopped the wood or camped or whatever the case may be. It's people in other countries and other states who don't even know that people like you exist. Like, people don't know that you can program a watch. You know what I'm saying? They don't know that you're into like Legos or cars or, you know, engineering, you know, or science or finance. Like, just put the camera up, start talking about it. And, you know, you'll be learning while you're also showing others.
Man, you be talking about that Facebook game. I've been peeping you because if you follow him on Instagram or on Threads, he talks a lot about how much the Facebook algorithm is paying off, man. So I got to pick your brain about that. But I think you're right, man. I think you can't be afraid to just put your thoughts out there. You can't be afraid to just go after that, because you're gonna find your people. You're gonna find your platform, and I love that. what I also noticed about your content, man, is that you also aren't afraid to talk about faith. You aren't afraid to talk about philosophy or share your worldview, which in this day and age, man, it could come with some consequences.
Yeah.
How do you navigate all of that?
I'm aware. I know what country I live in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just aware.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's about avoiding, well, you said navigating consequences.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to know what time it is.
Yeah.
You have to understand that things that you say may be taken offensive by some people. The people who love what you're saying may not be the people in power. The people who hate what you're saying could be the people in power, and they don't want you to say that. So they will limit your visibility. So that's what people call like shadow banning. What they call it is limited visibility. And with that being the case, you really have to have multiple like places to get your message out. So if you can't really put all of your time into one platform, and I thought people would have learned this with TikTok, but you know, you just have to diversify. Just like you diversify your portfolio with income, you have to be on TikTok, you have to be on Facebook, Instagram, and I'm on overseas like apps as well.
Oh, wow.
So you really just never know. You really got to diversify. And I would say focusing on money is important, but what you really want to focus on is the value and building the connection with an engaged audience. That's the main thing.
Yeah, that audience engagement is real. And if you're not doing the things like what you're doing, I mean, you know, being afraid, have the conversations, open up for dialogue, you know, and get reply back to the folks that are reaching out to you, man. You got to have that engagement. And so I think you said a lot in terms of just not being afraid to do that. And I ain't even never thought about that, man, because I think sometimes we want to get to a certain number of followers, or we want to like get to being monetized on certain platforms that we don't think a lot about the diversification. But that's important, especially because I've seen creators these days get shadow banned or get silenced or because they've shared different things. So no, you're onto something.
Yeah, man. Like I came up on Master P, you know what I'm saying? Count. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like JD, BMF. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta find a way to get your message out there and to reach your audience. And I mean, that's just how I go. I just came up like that.
Well, I mean, so when you think about that, man, how do you balance being open about your beliefs without being preachy? Or you know, how do you draw that line for your audience? I
think you have to be who you say you are to yourself first.
Yeah, facts.
Don't think about showing up for other people. Like each day, you just have to be better than you were the day before. Do better than the day before. You have to make an attempt to do that. And like people really only talk about you too much if you are talking about a bunch of things that they don't see you doing. And a lot of times you don't have to say or profess what you actually believe. People will pick up on it if they'll see you doing it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like they'll know that you're a good steward of the land. They'll know that you believe in connectedness. You know what I'm saying? If that's the way you are moving, you know, and people around you. And like I'm outside, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just on the internet. I'm just not in the Black Mirror. Like, I'm in community, you know what I'm saying? With Accountability Brother, whether it be Peace in the Wild, you know, Connected Camping, Black Hiking Club. Like, I will go outside, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I think when I'm, like, interacting with people and in community with people, it's easier to be comfortable online because you're really your people. Yeah, you really talking to your people. No, that's real, man. And you really are. I think one of the things that even our first conversation, I was inspired by that because I think that, you know, sometimes, you know, it's easy to put on this persona in on the internet, but then really being about that in real life. Because, like, I mean, even scheduling this interview, you're like, man, I'm actually outside this weekend. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And so it's good to see that, you know, you have that authenticity, but you're also connected with the people. And you kind of brushed over that, but I want you to share a little bit more about this group, your Accountability Brothers. Share more, tell people more about that. Yeah, so I'm a part of a men's group. I'm a co-founder with Rashard Spann. He's the founder of Accountability Brother. Okay. And essentially, you know, he has learned a lot just being around men. And so basically he had an idea because we used to go hiking and do bonfires and just like kick it and really like be vulnerable and share our experiences in life and how we're growing, and asking like, are there some areas that you think I could improve in, or are there things that you need help in that we can help you with? And so one day Rashard was asking us like, he's like, man, I'm just trying to figure out, what I want to do and go forward, in life, because a lot of us, we reach certain goals, like let's say your goal is to be educated and have a partner and then have a family. And then let's say you reach those things and you like, man, I still want to have an impact. I don't want to be closed in. I want other people to experience this. Yeah. And it's like, okay, how did I get here? And the way he got there was with brotherhood. And one day he was like, man, you know what I want to do? I want to do this. And we was like, what's this? He was like, how we just sitting around outside going hikes, and we just talk. We go to mountains, waterfalls, just kicking it. And he was like, this what I want to do. And we was like, bet. Yeah. Like, let's get started. And I would say maybe like 3 months later, we had our first hike at Cockrell Mill Park. And I want to say like 35 to 40 men showed up. Wow. And I mean, brothers did not know each other at all. Yeah. And so the fact that like he was able to bring something from his brain, reach out to his brothers, and be able to, and we like, if that's what you want to do, then that's what we doing. Yeah. And have 40 men to go out into the woods. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that was inspiring. So, it's about social, physical, mental, emotional growth and brotherhood. And like a lot of third spaces, we don't have access to, or you got to, pay to play. Yeah. But like in the outdoors, it's like a meeting point. Yeah. So it's like a common denominator. Like you ain't got to pay. All you got to do is show up. Show up. You know what I'm saying? If you need resources, like reach out, see if we could find a way to get you some hiking shoes, or we'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying? You need a ride, we'll try to figure that out so you can get out here. And then we can talk about, different wellness practices and manhood development and things like that.
Man, I love that. You spoke. I mean, I think that story exemplifies a lot of things. Number one, the power of community. Because I think about the fact that Rashad was connected to y'all, and y'all poured into him in that moment. Yeah. And look at how they have multiplied and helped so many other brothers as a result of that, right? Yeah. But I mean, just think about all the other brilliant minds that has an idea just like that. Yeah. That need that encouragement, that need that community to say, it could be a ride to a place or a connection to a place or whatever that's stopping another brother from having that. So I love that, man. Yeah. I think so. If people want to get connected with Accountability Brother, what can they do?
Oh, theaccountabilitybrother.com. Okay. It's that simple.
Check it out, y'all. You got to check it out. I think I love that. And I know that we talked about this before, man, but I think there aren't enough spaces like that for brothers to be able to do that. And so the fact that you're doing that, I love that. And this kind of hits at to kind of where I wanted to take the conversation in terms of while I know that isn't a business side of your creative thing, I think it's just another opportunity that comes out of this idea of being a creator. But let's talk about the business side and how you're building something sustainable. So how do you think about monetizing your voice? Especially because I know you want to do so without compromising your message.
Yeah. So this is what I would say. You definitely got to find out, who you are and what you are willing to like partner with. Like, I'm about environmentalism. I'm about sustainability. I'm about community connectedness. These are just things I've learned about myself that I had to accept. So it's just certain things that I'm not going to stand for. You know what I'm saying? So those are the things you got to know about yourself so when opportunities come your way, you can be like, well, I don't think I want to do it this way. And you got to understand like your personal value. So I'm sure a lot of Black creators know like brands reaching out, offering peanuts, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to let the brands know right now, I'm looking at your 10K reports. I'm looking at the budgets.
You feel me?
I'm looking at what you're looking for. I know what you're asking for, and I know that a lot of us are showing up with with those asks. And I understand that there are creators that you are reaching out to through agencies, and the agencies are pocketing a lot of that money and then giving a little bit to the creators. Yeah. And so it's like, I see it, other people seeing it. They might not be saying nothing, but we know what's going on. And so I would say, when it comes to building your business, first of all, understand that it's happening. Yeah. Period. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then you want to make sure that you are creating like you got to create a connection with an audience, and you have to provide a service.
Yeah.
You have to really come from a place of service. And so with me, I knew my service was showing people accessible places in Georgia, in the Tennessee, in Alabama, in the Southeast that they can go and experience for themselves, take their families. And then on top of that, I'm like, well, what products are they going to need? So if you're coming to me for the information about where to go, now you want to know, what do I need when I'm there?
Yep.
And so, there are affiliate marketing that you can do, you know, so people can get the information from you, then get the product from you. So you get commissions on that. Also, building a community. I'm on Patreon.
Yeah.
So, that way people can get in contact with me personally. We're in group chats. It's basically about that connection. And when it comes to monetization straight off the platform, you really want to find out which platforms you could be most consistent and really understand, like, how much is my content worth to this platform based on the activities that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So if you're on YouTube, obviously, if you're a beauty influencer, finance influencer, that's where you're going to go.
Yeah.
If you're a yapper, you're going to be on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to take it up another notch, you're going to be a yapper, and then you're going to go to Substack to do the articles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to educate, then you got Course, you got Patreon, then you could do websites. And then if you want to monetize directly straight from the platform, you got to go to Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at what Country Wayne is doing, you look at, just go to Facebook.
Yeah, no, it's tons of creators that's making bank. They
got a lot of different programs, and that's a place where you can monetize directly from the platform. You get payouts. And I would say this, also be looking for just be an early adopter, because what worked for me and what worked for you is probably not going to work for the next person. Because a lot of content creators, we are actively looking for the next thing. And so they're going to be like, all right, y'all done tap this out. Y'all figured the game out. We're going to move on to another thing. So that's how you got to do it.
I feel like the needle is always moving. And if you are going to if you want to be a content creator, you have to understand that. And I think it is always evolving, and like whatever, I even see creators that, they have when they find something that works, they ride with it, but you can only ride with it for so long. And you got to continually evolve that out. And so I guess that was going to be my follow-up question, just given you've been in the game since 2006.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking about, where all the opportunities that are coming up ahead, just as people get more access, as AI comes into the conversation, as more apps and other things come out, and connection and community become so authentic, connection and community become almost niche, if you will. Like, how do you see the creator economy evolving?
Man, like, You really got to think about service and being a service to people, being a service to a community. Like, Jesus is celebrated all over the world. You know what I'm saying? Recognized everywhere because of service. You know what I'm saying? All the prophets, what are they doing? It's a service. And that is endearing people towards you. So you really have to think about some of these practical applications that have lasted for centuries. You know what I'm saying? To be like, how can I be valuable in the age of automation and AI and generative AI and general intelligence AI on the way? Like, what experience can I provide to people? What can I discuss? What can I demonstrate and show that AI can't? And so I'm studying AI. Like, what is AI doing now that I can't do? Or what can I do that it can't do? For instance, like, if you got AI models and they're putting on jeans and clothes and telling, like, they can't tell you how the jeans feel against your skin. You know what I'm saying? They can't tell you how the wind feel on your back when I'm out kayaking. You know what I'm saying? In the water. Like, they can't describe that because they're not a person. So don't fall for that. You know what I'm saying? So it's really going to take a lot of media literacy from the public and the creators to understand, like, what can you add of value that AI can't, and just what services can you provide people, the community. You know what I'm saying? That's how you got to think about it first, and then add the monetization on top of it. But I'm telling y'all, you do have to monetize. You do have to add a price on it, because the way that people think, they may think if something is free, that maybe it doesn't have any value.
I mean, I think you said something, a bar there when you talked about it, because this is something that I think when even I got into the game, I wasn't thinking about it from a lens of, because when you say like, think of it as a service, like what service they're providing, it's like you're almost coming in with your business model in mind.
Yeah.
Like what value am I bringing to the world as a result of making this content? And I think a lot of times we focus on the talent piece, right? Or the personality piece and don't always make that connection. But I think starting with that, I think just speaks to it, even if it is, helping people find accessible ways to get outside, or, from my perspective, making sure Black travelers understand the different places around the world that they connect to and what those things feel like. So finding that niche, I think is just so important.
Yeah, because a lot of it is about like principles.
Yeah.
And if you can really nail the principle down, then you can work from there. Like I remember my homeboy Christopher K.P. Brown told me to read. I can't remember the name of the book, but it was about like personal legend.
Yeah.
And so and thinking about what my personal legend would be, I started looking at different quotes and reading different books. And there's a quote by Pliny the Elder, and it was pretty much like saying like, make sure you know what you're offering. Mm-hmm. Make sure you understand that whatever you're offering, whatever you're providing, it needs to be of good. It needs to be of worth. Mm. So I'm always thinking about like, what am I adding to the space? What am I adding to the environment instead of just thinking about what I'm subtracting? And I think that if you work from that space as a content creator, you will move in a way you feel like I am worthy of this rate.
Yep.
I am worthy of my value and my content cost this much and not this much. This is how much the brand wants to offer me.
Yeah.
But it's worth this much.
Yeah.
And figure out how you want to, add that to your package as well. Like I know a lot of us look for brand deals, but like in Asia, what I'm saying, there are a bunch of markets, manufacturing markets. I'm in Atlanta. You can go right up to Gwinnett and go to a manufacturer and get some stuff made. You know what I'm saying? And put your logo on it and get with the people beside you and build that brand up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the age we're in.
Man, it's so powerful. And I think sometimes we think, a lot of things help give us those limited thoughts to think that that's like out of reach for us. Yeah. But I think what you're saying is, man, don't be afraid to like just, not like go for it. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to not only provide the service, but think about it from a truly like a scalable business perspective. Like constantly thinking about what value am I bringing? How am I feeling a need? That's going to keep your content relevant. And to your earlier point, that's going to build that community where people trust you. And when you say something, they act. Yeah. And I see that. I see that in your platform. And that's something I'm inspiring to build myself, man. So that's kudos to you for that.
Appreciate that.
So speaking on that, man, you've talked a lot about it, man. I hear it, and trust me, I'm peeping these books, and they all about to be in my Rolodex. Yeah. Where do you see yourself, right, in 5 years? So you built this platform, and you've done a great job, but where are you headed?
You know what? I think I want to continue to expand We Out. That's essentially it's where I take students outdoors, like outdoor guided experiences, so they can understand like some wellness practices and resources that will help them essentially like matriculate, through their schooling and, become like citizens of the world that are productive, because I'm thinking about the fact that we have all this AI, this technology coming into place, and I've always been concerned with what are we going to do when there's nothing left to do? Mm-hmm. How are we going to get along with people and everyone in these spaces when the automations have the jobs? People are getting laid off left and right. Whole communities are being affected by what's going on in the data centers. And I think about like, we're going to have to figure out how to navigate life going into the future and dealing with one another. And something that I learned, I was thinking like, well, what can compete with screens? What can compete with all of this information that we're getting? And I learned like being outdoors, you know what I'm saying? Like what God has created, like the lumens from the sun, are greater than the lumens in our phone. Right. And that lights up the world that we need to, spend more time in. And so I think putting people in the outdoors and giving them that first experience will open them up to so many different things because that's just a gateway. First aid. So if I'm taking you outdoors and we're talking about first aid safety, that may inspire you to want to be, a doctor, you know what I'm saying, or a nurse, you know what I'm saying, a clinician. Yeah. So that is what I see myself doing, expanding that network and, also doing more speaking engagements as well. So,
Man, I can see it. And I think you the way that you even, I was just talking to a friend the other day about like how I believe that, because one thing, when you go outdoors and you're out there in nature, especially go to some of these national parks and you go to some of these things where, man, it really literally looks like you got a screensaver in front of you. And it looks fake. Like you can just tear it down. Yeah. It opens up something in your brain. Mm-hmm. I don't know the scientific stuff behind it, but what I do know is that every time I go out, I come back different. I can't come back the same after seeing that. And so hearing what you're saying around creating those opportunities for young folks, getting them outside, and especially as we think about a world where you're right, everything is becoming so digital and automated, and we're giving the data to where, that big companies, that's really their currency these days.
Yeah, that's something to understand. Like, understand the trade-off. Like, I tell people, if you're online and you're not making a business of it, consider how much money and how much attention that you are giving them. We are in the attention economy, and they're using your likeness and your image to create whatever they are, get data, facial recognition, and they're getting paid for their information. Why wouldn't you want to take part in the business and get paid instead of just only getting exploited? Right. And so I think about that, and I'm like, well, how am I going to compete? As far as the question about in the 5 years, like, where do I see myself? Mm-hmm. I wanted people to get outside, to get outdoors, get off the screens. But I also understood, okay, I need to go where the people are, and the people are on the screen. So I am in this kind of like situation where it's like I produce a lot of content. Yeah. However much content you think you are producing or that you've seen, I'm producing more. Wow. You know what I'm saying? It's automated. It's probably something like scheduled going up right now. People probably think I'm somewhere else that I'm not, but I'm here. Yeah. And so I'm like, I need to go to the screens to get their attention, to attract them to the outdoors. I always wanted to use any attention I got to point to something greater than me, you know what I'm saying? Something that can help people. And so it's like, okay, I'm on the screens a lot, but I don't want people just to be on the screens watching me have fun. Yeah. I really do want them to say, you know what, this is doing this for him. Maybe it could do that for me. And that's why I do encourage other like people who want to be outdoor creators. I thought when people saw what I was doing, it would be a bunch of other creators, whether they be like streaming, you know what I'm saying? I see Agent. I don't know if you know Agent. He on Twitch. He with the whole regime with Kai Sinai. Okay, yeah. And so he's been doing like a lot of streaming outdoors. And so I'm like, okay, like I'm kind of a legacy social media act, you know what I'm saying? Because I've been in it for so long, but like I think the streaming outdoors is crazy. Is like where I'm like, okay, it should be going this way. I want younger people and newer people to like pick up the mantle and do that. You know what I'm saying?
Man, there's so much to that, and I think that to your point of like just thinking about ways to like continue to build off of that. That's that evolution, right? That's that exposure to that, and I think people on streaming is like that's the wave. You can say what you want, but Kai, I Show Speed, man, this tour he just did in Africa, man, like that is literally, that like bringing in millions of dollars off of going to see the world. Yeah. And just think about how many kids he's inspiring to go do the same. They've never been to Ethiopia. Yeah. Now they sitting at home watching him do that thing. So I think you're onto something, man.
Yeah, and people have like negative connotations. They had negative connotations with Africa and Ethiopia. Most people think about, South Africa. Now more people are thinking about, West Africa. Right. And to have a light shown on East Africa and other places, it's similar to what I definitely realized I was doing for the outdoors, in the Southeast and for Black people. Because I'm like, I'm hiking. I'm going outside. I'm going to the mountains. I'm going to these places. Yes, I'm going to be mindful because I still know where I'm at. I still know what time it is.
That's a fact.
But it's like, I grew up here. You know what I'm saying? I didn't come here from another place. I'm from the South. I know how to move. I know what's what. But I also know, like, on the trails and the outdoors, most people they're not really thinking about all of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm very mindful, I'm practical, and I want more people to show up outdoors, more black people especially.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if people think it's unsafe when I'm out there, it's only unsafe because you ain't out there. You know what I'm saying? If you was out there, then we good.
We good, right?
You know what I'm saying?
I told somebody the other day, I said, I feel like one of the things that makes outside so different when you're in nature is that it's probably even more so than it is when we're in our homes and do whatever. We need each other.
Yeah.
Like when I really realized that, especially when you go to some of these remote places and people come by the camp, and at first, especially being a black man, I was like, man, why are they rolling up on us like this? But it's actually not like, I'm over here.
Yeah.
You over there.
Yeah.
You need something.
Let
us know.
Yeah.
And if we see something, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
And you need that.
Yeah.
And so I think that, being outside kind of, and I'm not going to say that it breaks down barriers, but it definitely, I realize our need for one another.
I would say it's definitely close to being an equalizer.
Yeah.
The deficit that we have is not having the knowledge and experience of being in the outdoors.
Yeah.
But there are some things that we do have that are needed in the outdoors, a different way of thinking, ingenuity,
right.
Some things that we understand innately and internally. And so, but that, like you said, that equalizer, when we out here, is like, okay, if I get into a situation or a jam, my only help is these people over here.
Facts,
you know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. So, decisions will have to be made. Like, am I going to hold on to my prejudices or am I going to save myself and my family?
Yeah.
And, oh, wow, I didn't know, like, everyone was so capable. Man. It's like, it really, opens you up to like a different perspective being out there.
Oh, for sure, man. For sure. I think, we've talked a lot about, man, like how you started in 2006 and like just all the things you're doing now to even, building this, I'm going to say an empire that you're building because I believe that. And even talking to you, man, I see the vision coming to life. Like if you could go back, when we say this as we start to wrap up, if you could go back and tell your younger self one thing, what would it be?
If I could tell my younger self one thing, it would be sign up for the community college course for computer science.
Okay. Hey, man. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, that would be it.
Well, why computer science?
Because I was always into like computer science and hardware, like taking computers apart. Because at that time, if you wanted a computer, you had no choice but to know how to build one. Yeah. And so
that's a fact. Yeah.
And so the things that I was doing just because I wanted to get on the internet and communicate and learn, like look up, Microsoft Encarta, you know what I'm saying? Encyclopedia. I got the books. I read the books, but you know what I'm saying? They heavy. I could just go online. And so to do those things, you just had to understand computers and also coding to a degree because it was MDOS. You know what I'm saying? It's MDOS is a black screen, it's a blue screen. You got to know what you typing in there to execute certain things. But at that time, since that was just what I was doing, I didn't even know that there was an industry that existed, that there were jobs and careers, you know what I'm saying, in that. So
turning what you love into, another means of income, brother. I love it. I love it.
I'm on the internet anyway.
Yeah,
so
exactly. That's real. That's real. All right. So, well, man, first of all, man, bro, I appreciate this conversation. I mean, I've learned so much about you. I've learned so much about like thinking, and I'm leaving inspired, So I think this would be good before we wrap up for you to close out. Like, what's one thing you hope? There are plenty of people listening. Hopefully, check out the podcast Unmapped on YouTube. But if people that are listening, what do you want them to take? What's one thing you want them to take from this conversation?
One thing I want them to take from this conversation is to really learn who you are. You know what I'm saying? Show up for yourself. And that way you can have the capacity to show up for others and really get into community. I know, being online is the thing to do. And the internet is a resource. It's a connector, it's a messaging board. But I really think we need to continue showing up, in person and looking across to one another instead of always looking up
Hey, man, I appreciate that, man. Well, look, bro, it's been real. It's a great conversation. Thank you for showing the people what it looks like to be able to follow your dreams, man, and be thoughtful and intentional and do so with integrity. Tell the people where they can follow you, man. Let them know how they can access you if they're interested.
All right, so people can follow me on ITS NOTIQBRUH on Instagram, on TikTok. It's NOTIQbruh.com. So that's where you can find me.
All right, man. Well, listen, thank you, God. Thank you for checking out. This has been Unmapped. Check us out next time.